Picture this: a faint, gray dawn creeping over a town so small it barely registers on a map, the kind of place where the wind carries whispers of forgotten stories through empty streets. I'm Haley, 28 years old, caught in the quiet rhythm of a life I've built with my husband, Ethan, in this sleepy corner of the world. Our home sits on the edge of town, a modest little house with a porch that creaks under the weight of lazy afternoons. It's just the two of us, and most days, that feels like enough. But lately, I've been wondering if I'm enough for him. Ethan's 32, a man with dreams bigger than this town could ever hold. His mind is always racing, chasing the next grand idea, the next project that'll put his name on something permanent. I love him for it, his fire, his relentless drive. But loving someone like that comes with a shadow. I often find myself on the sidelines, watching him pour his soul into plans and blueprints, while I'm left holding the pieces of our quieter moments. We're still us, still tethered by late-night laughs and stolen kisses, but there's a strain now, a thread pulled too tight. I feel it when he talks about his visions, his eyes alight with a passion that doesn't always include me. His latest obsession is an old, abandoned school on the outskirts of town. A hulking relic from the 1950s, it's been sitting there for decades, rotting under the weight of time. Ethan bought it on a whim, or so he says, with every cent we could scrape together. He calls it our shared venture, our new life, a chance to turn this crumbling shell into something grand, a community center maybe, or a boutique hotel for travelers passing through. I've nodded along, offered my support, even forced a smile when he dragged me out there to see it for the first time. But deep down, I'm skeptical. This isn't a dream I ever asked for. Still, I've bitten my tongue because I see how much it means to him, how much he needs this to work. The school itself is a haunting thing. I can still picture it from that first visit, standing there like a forgotten giant against the pale sky. The paint on its brick walls has peeled away in jagged strips, revealing the dull red underneath, like old wounds that never healed. Rows of windows stare down, most of them shattered, their jagged edges catching the light in a way that makes my skin crawl. Inside, it's worse. The air is thick with dust and the smell of decay, and every step echoes through the empty halls, bouncing off chipped tiles and rusted lockers. There's an eerie silence that clings to the place, broken only by the occasional creak of a loose board or the skitter of something small in the shadows. It doesn't feel like a building waiting to be reborn. It feels like a graveyard of memories, a place where time stopped and never started again. I've told here I am, sitting in our cozy living room, the soft glow of a single lamp casting shadows on the walls. The faint scent of chamomile lingers in the air as I cradle a warm mug of tea in my hands, trying to lose myself in the murmur of the TV. It's a typical evening, one of those quiet ones where the clock seems to tick slower, stretching out the silence. Ethan's late again, no surprise there. He's been swallowed up by that school project, buried under a mountain of meetings or paperwork, chasing deadlines that seem to multiply by the day. I glance at the empty spot on the couch beside me, where he should be, and feel that familiar pang of loneliness creep in. My phone buzzes on the coffee table, snapping me out of my thoughts. It's Ethan. I answer, and his voice comes through, hurried but still carrying that warmth I've always clung to. Haley, babe, I'm so sorry. I'm running behind again. Can you do me a huge favor? I need you to head over to the school. The workers are there finishing up some stuff, and I need you to check on their progress and sign off on a delivery of materials. It'll be quick, I promise. I hesitate, my grip tightening on the phone. Ethan, you know I don't like going there alone, especially at night. That place, it gives me the creeps. He sighs softly, and I can almost see him rubbing the back of his neck like he does when he's stressed. I know, and I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. It's just a quick visit, in and out. I'll be there as soon as I can. You've got this." His reassurance doesn't fully ease the knot in my stomach, but I can't say no to him, not when he sounds so desperate. "Fine," I mutter, "but you owe me." He chuckles, a small sound of relief. "Deal. Thanks, Haley. I'll see you soon." I set the mug down, the tea now lukewarm, and drag myself off the couch. Grabbing my jacket from the hook by the door, I slip it on, the fabric feeling heavier than it should. My car keys jingle in my hand as I step outside, the cool night air biting at my cheeks. The drive to the school feels longer than usual, the dark, winding road stretching out endlessly before me. My old car groans with every turn, the engine protesting as if it, too, doesn't want to be heading toward that place. The headlights cut through the blackness, illuminating gnarled trees that line the roadside, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers reaching out. I grip the steering wheel a little tighter, trying to shake off the unease that's already settling in. As I near the school, its looming silhouette emerges against the moonlit sky, a hulking shadow that seems to swallow the light around it. I pull into the empty parking lot, the gravel crunching under my tires as I come to a stop. I sit there for a moment, engine idling, staring at the dark mass of the school through the windshield. The unease I felt on the drive over has morphed into something heavier, a dread that sits like a stone in my chest. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself and cut the engine. The silence that follows is suffocating, broken only by the faint tick of the cooling motor. I step out, my boots crunching on the gravel, and make my way toward the building, flashlight in hand, its beam trembling slightly as I grip it too tight. The main entrance is boarded up, but Ethan had mentioned a side door near the old gym that the workers have been using. I find it, a rusted metal door hanging slightly ajar, and push it open with a creak that echoes into the darkness beyond. The air inside hits me immediately, musty, thick with the scent of mildew and something metallic I can't quite place. My flashlight cuts through the gloom, revealing a long, narrow hallway leading to the gym. Every step I take reverberates, the sound bouncing off the walls, making me feel like I'm not alone, even though I should be. I shake off the thought and press forward, telling myself I'm just here to check on things and get out. When I reach the gym, I freeze in the doorway. The cavernous space is dimly lit by a few flickering work lights strung up on makeshift stands, casting long, jagged shadows across the cracked wooden floor. But it's not the eerie lighting that stops me cold. It's the sight of 12 men standing in a loose circle in the center of the room. They're dressed in worn work clothes, heavy boots caked with mud, their faces half hidden under the brims of tattered caps. Tools, hammers, crowbars, saws lie abandoned on the floor around them, as if they dropped everything mid-task. They don't speak, don't move, just stand there, their eyes locked on me with an intensity that pins me to the spot. My heart starts pounding, a frantic rhythm in my chest, and I can feel the sweat prickling at the back of my neck despite the chill in the air. I force myself to speak, my voice coming out shakier than I'd like. "Hey, are you guys the crew Ethan sent? I'm just here to check on the progress and sign off on some materials." There's no response, not even a flicker of acknowledgement. The silence stretches, heavy and suffocating, and I take an instinctive step back, my hand fumbling in my jacket pocket for my phone. I don't know what's going on, but every instinct in me is screaming to get out of here. Before I can pull the phone free, one of them steps forward. A tall, wiry man with rough, calloused hands and piercing eyes that seem to see right through me. He moves with a deliberate slowness, closing the distance between us, and I'm rooted to the spot, unable to move. He reaches out, his fingers brushing a strand of hair from my face in a gesture so intimate it makes my skin crawl. His voice is low, almost a whisper, as he leans in close. He knows. He wants you to do this. My mind reels, confusion and fear crashing over me like a wave. What? What are you talking about? Who knows? I stammer, but he doesn't answer. Instead, the atmosphere in the room shifts, the air growing thicker, charged with something I can't name. The other men start to close in, their movements slow but purposeful, and I realize with a sickening jolt that I've lost control of this moment. What happens next is a blur, a whirlwind of actions I can't stop, can't escape. It's as if I'm outside myself, watching as I'm drawn into a dark, forbidden act, right there on the cold, dusty gym floor, surrounded by these strangers. My mind screams against it, but my body betrays me, caught in a storm of conflicting emotions. Shame burns through me, hot and suffocating, mingling with raw fear that claws at my insides. And I'm still on the gym floor, the cold seeping through my clothes, chilling my skin as I sit there, frozen in the aftermath. My breath comes in shallow, ragged gasps, and my mind is a chaotic mess, replaying every second of what just happened in excruciating detail. My jacket is half off one shoulder, my shirt untucked, and I can feel the grit of the dusty floor under my palms as I press them down, trying to anchor myself to something real. But nothing feels real right now. It's like I'm trapped in a nightmare, waiting to wake up. Except the ache in my body and the pounding in my chest tell me this is all too true. I can't even look at the men around me, those silent figures who were part of this twisted moment. I don't want to see their faces, don't want to acknowledge what they've done, what I've done. And then there's Ethan. He was here, at the edge of it all, watching with that unreadable expression on his face, his phone in hand, like he was capturing every shameful second. I can still see the cold glint in his eyes, the way his lips pressed into a thin line, not a trace of warmth or concern. When it was over, he didn't say a word to me. No comfort, no explanation, nothing. He just turned off his phone with a deliberate click, slid it into his pocket, and walked out of the gym, his footsteps echoing in the cavernous space until they faded into silence. He left me here, abandoned on this filthy floor, with nothing but the weight of what happened crushing down on me. The workers, those shadowy figures, don't even glance my way as they start gathering their tools, the clatter of metal against metal jarring in the quiet. They pack up as if this was just another job, as if they didn't just shatter my world, their movements mechanical and detached. I'm invisible to them now, a discarded piece of the scene they've already moved on from. I try to stand, but my legs are like jelly, trembling under me as I push myself up. My hands shake as I pull my jacket back over my shoulder, trying to cover the disarray of my clothes, as if that could somehow erase the violation I feel. Every muscle in my body aches, not just from the physical strain, but from the emotional wreckage tearing through me. I stumble toward the door, my boots scuffing against the cracked wood, each step heavier than the last. The air in the hallway feels suffocating as I make my way back to the side entrance, the rusted door creaking as I push it open and stagger out into the night. The cool air hits my face like a slap, but it doesn't clear my head. If anything, it sharpens the pain, makes the tears I've been holding back spill over, hot and unrelenting, streaming down my cheeks as I fumble for my car keys. The drive home is a blur. I don't remember starting the engine or pulling out of the gravel lot. I don't remember the winding road or the skeletal trees flashing by in the headlights. All I can see is Ethan's face, that haunting, emotionless stare as he recorded everything. His words from earlier echo in my mind, the casual way he'd asked me to come here, the urgency in his voice that I mistook for care. It's just a quick visit, in and out. You've got this. Had he planned this all along? Was this his twisted idea of control, of punishment, or something even darker I can't yet fathom? The tears keep coming, blurring my vision as I grip the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turn white. I don't know how I make it home without crashing, but somehow I do. Pulling into the driveway of our little house, the porch light casting a weak glow that feels like a mockery of safety. Inside, I don't stop to turn on the lights. I don't want to see the familiar walls, the cozy corners that used to feel like mine. I head straight for the bathroom, locking the door behind me with a shaky hand, as if that flimsy barrier could shut out the memories. I stand in front of the mirror, barely recognizing the woman staring back at me. My eyes are red-rimmed, swollen from crying, and my face is pale, almost ghostly under the harsh fluorescent light. I grip the edge of the sink, my fingers digging into the cold porcelain, trying to steady the storm inside me. But it's no use. The memories of that gym floor keep crashing over me, wave after wave, and I can't stop them. I can't stop seeing Ethan standing there. His phone aimed at me like a weapon, capturing every humiliating moment. I've been avoiding the truth for days now, hiding from the reality of what he did, but I can't run from it anymore. I have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I stumble out of the bathroom, my legs still unsteady, and make my way to the living room. My laptop sits on the coffee table, a silent sentinel waiting for me to make the choice I've been dreading. Ethan sent me the video the day after it happened, a cold, impersonal email with no subject line, just a file attachment. I haven't touched it since it arrived, couldn't bring myself to even look at the thumbnail. But now, something in me shifts, a desperate need to understand, to see the full extent of his betrayal with my own eyes. I sit down on the couch, the cushions sinking under me, and pull the laptop onto my lap. My hands tremble as I open the email, the cursor hovering over the file for what feels like an eternity before I finally click. The video starts playing, and it's worse than I could have imagined. There I am, sprawled on that grimy gym floor, my face a mask of confusion and fear, my body moving in ways I didn't want, didn't choose. The camera doesn't waver, doesn't flinch. It's steady, deliberate, held by Ethan's hand, as if he's directing a scene he's rehearsed 100 times. I can see the faint reflection of the work lights in his eyes through the grainy footage, and there's nothing there. No remorse, no pain, just a chilling detachment, like he's watching a stranger. My stomach churns, bile rising in my throat as I force myself to keep looking, to take in every agonizing detail. The sound is muted, thank God, but the silence makes it worse somehow, amplifying the visual assault. I can almost hear the echoes of that cavernous gym, the scuff of boots on wood, the raggedness of my own breath. It's not just a recording. It's a calculated wound, proof that this wasn't some impulsive act of cruelty. This was planned, orchestrated down to the last frame. Ethan wanted this moment captured, preserved to use against me. I slam the laptop shut, my chest heaving as sobs tear through me. I curl into myself on the couch, pulling my knees to my chest, my tears soaking into the fabric of my sleeves. How could he do this to me? How could the man I loved, the man I trusted with every piece of myself, turn me into a pawn in some sick game? My mind races, piecing together fragments of suspicion I've ignored for too long. This wasn't just about hurting me, it was about control, about leverage. Was he trying to force me out of the marriage on his terms? Did he think this video would give him the upper hand in a divorce? Maybe to avoid splitting assets, or to paint me as something I'm not? Or was it deeper, darker, some twisted way to break me completely, to leave me with nothing, not even my dignity? I don't have answers, but the weight of the betrayal crushes me, heavier than anything I've ever felt. I grab my phone, my fingers shaking as I scroll through my contacts and find Mark, Ethan's business partner. If anyone knows what's behind this, it's him. I hit call, pressing the phone to my ear, each ring feeling like a lifetime. When he finally picks up, his voice is cautious, clipped. "Haley? What's going on?" I don't waste time with pleasantries. Mark, I need to know what Ethan's up to. I I saw the video he sent me. I know what he did, what he orchestrated at the school. Tell me the truth, Mark. What was this really about? There's a long pause on the other end, a heavy silence that stretches so thin I can almost hear his hesitation crackling through the line. Finally, he sighs, his voice dropping to a near whisper, like he's afraid someone might overhear. Haley, I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, but Ethan's been planning something for over a year. It wasn't just about you or that night. It's bigger. I think it's tied to some kind of insurance scam, or maybe a way to liquidate assets from the school project without losing everything. Those workers? They weren't even real contractors. Just hired hands, paid to play a part for that one night. I'm sorry, I didn't know the full extent until it was too late. His words hit me like a punch to the gut, knocking the air out of me. An insurance scam? Hired hands? My mind spins, trying to piece together the jagged edges of this new revelation. So, that night wasn't just a personal betrayal, it was a calculated move in some twisted financial game. I clutched the phone tighter, my voice trembling with a mix of rage and disbelief. You're telling me he used me, humiliated me, just to cash out on some scheme? And you knew, Mark? You let this happen? He stammers, trying to backtrack. No, Haley, I swear, I didn't know the details. I just knew he was desperate to make the numbers work. I thought it was just business, not this. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't cut it, but I don't have the energy to scream at him. I hang up without another word, letting the phone slip from my hand onto the couch. My thoughts a tangled mess of anger and heartbreak. Months have passed since that awful diner meeting where the final papers were signed, and I'm still picking up the pieces of my shattered life. The divorce went through as Ethan wanted, a clean break for him, but a devastating loss for me. He walked away with most of what we had, leaving me in financial ruin, my savings drained by legal fees and the cost of starting over. I've lost more than money, though. The whispers in this small town spread like wildfire after everything came out, and the looks of pity or judgment from people I once called friends have driven me into isolation. I don't go to the old coffee shop anymore. Don't walk past the park where I used to sit with Ethan on sunny days. My sense of self, the woman I thought I was, lies in tatters, broken by the weight of his betrayal and the shame I can't seem to shake, no matter how much I tell myself I wasn't to blame. I've moved to a tiny apartment on the other side of town, as far as I can get from the school and the memories it holds. It's a cramped, dimly lit space with peeling wallpaper and a faucet that drips no matter how much I tighten it. The walls are thin, and I can hear my neighbor's TV blaring late into the night, a constant reminder that I'm not as alone as I feel, yet somehow more isolated than ever. My furniture is second-hand, mismatched, a sagging couch, a wobbly table, a mattress that creaks with every move. But it's mine, a small corner of the world where I can try to rebuild, even if the foundation feels like sand beneath my feet. Every day, I wake up to the same gray light filtering through a cracked window, and I wonder if I'll ever feel whole again. I still haven't deleted that video. It sits there on my laptop, a digital scar I can't bring myself to erase. Part of me wants to destroy it, to wipe away the evidence of that night and pretend it never happened. But another part, the part that's grown harder over these long, lonely months, clings to it as a reminder. It's proof of what I endured, a testament to both my betrayal and the strength it took to survive it. Late at night, when the world is quiet and the shadows stretch long across the room, I find solace in the memory, knowing that it has shaped me into someone who can face whatever comes next. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.